Hello, Shemai, and welcome back to my wild Welsh garden. Well, the battle of the seasons continues. This is what I woke up to on Thursday morning. Everywhere was covered in this little layer of snow. It was such a surprise. And the most fabulous sunrise. And now it's Easter Monday morning and the sun is shining and it's nice and warm. So I hope you can join me for a quarter of an hour just to potter around the garden and see what's going on. And I am so pleased to say that I do have a robin nesting in the old watering can that I put on the wall years ago. So it's been there for several years and nobody's ever shown any interest in it. In fact, a robin has just flown in now to feed them. And if I sit here, I can just see into the watering can through the trellis because the leaves haven't come onto the rose yet, so I can see. But I can see in better with my binoculars. And when the robin goes in, I can see that there's 4 little beaks that come up, at least 4. I can't see right in the back. So there's at least 4 little chicks in there. Oh, there he goes. I think these animals just like being on camera, because I've waited years for the robins to use this box. It's not a box, it's an old watering can. I've waited years for frogs to come and lay frog spawn in the pond. And then just when I start my YouTube channel, that's what happens. And so I've put my trusty trail cam on that pot there on a couple of stones, looking straight at the watering can. I don't want to go any closer because I don't want to put them off. So we'll see what it captures. I can't tell you how happy this makes me to see this, but just to prove it, I'll show you again and in slow motion this time. The primroses are still looking lovely. Do you know, it's amazing what a little bit of sunshine does. These beds I think I tidied when I did my last video. Now I've done round here. And the orchard. And this bed here. But not the veg beds yet, because I haven't really got much to go in, and I'm waiting for that really. I've cut the eucalyptus hard down. I can just reach it there, so each year I'm going to cut it down to there and then I'll be able to manage it. Because if I let it grow any bigger, I should have to get somebody in to cut it down for me. I've pruned some of the buddleia and left others to be trees. So I've pruned all the roses, and some of them, like this little climber, have really started shooting. I've cut the flowers off this hydrangea. There are several hydrangeas in the garden. My predecessor really loved them. And they're not very good news really as far as wildlife is concerned, but I do find that the butterflies and the bees do like to bask on these flowers. There's one of the lavender plants looking pretty with aubrietia growing through it. Some of the lavender plants haven't made it through the winter, but given that they're Mediterranean plants and like hot sunny weather, I'm surprised they survive at all in this garden really. I think that they do because it's very well drained. And this perennial wallflower hasn't made it either. There are a few flowers hanging on at the ends, but it really will have to come out. These perennial wallflowers don't last very long. 3, maybe 4 years at the most. I think this is maybe 3 years old. You're supposed to take cuttings and then you can replace them with your cuttings that you've grown on, but I am so hopeless at taking cuttings. Mostly they don't take, and then if they do, they grow into the most sickly, pathetic looking plants that I end up chucking them away anyway. So I shall buy something new. I am thinking I might have a catmint here. I'm a little bit worried about my Pyrrhus. It hasn't flowered really for a couple of years. It got very badly frosted last year, so I think that knocked it back last year, and I don't know. It's certainly not dead, so maybe it's going to take a while to recover. And this one was quite badly frosted as well, which seems to be recovering better. It has some flowers at the top and these lovely new pink growths. And this Pyrrhus is just looking lovely. It just hasn't produced any flowers. This is where I sit to count butterflies in the summer, and it's the only really shady bit of the garden. So this is the shady border, and I just noticed this absolutely stunning little plant here. And you know, I really can't remember where I got it from. It looks like a wood anemone, but it's very slightly tinted, sort of mauvey colour. So it's not a wild one. It's a cultivar, but it's just delightful. And that's a bleeding heart that has been in for years and never really done anything. It's actually going to flower this year. The forget-me-nots just beginning to come out, and more dandelions have come out. And foxgloves just getting ready to shoot up. Pulmonaria, lovely pink and purple and blue. And this is a dwarf comfrey that the bees love too. Here's a little patch of primroses in the sunshine, and there are some little bees flying around. I think they are the solitary bees, the mining bees. There's one on that stone. Let's see if I can get closer without her flying away. Oh, gone. The fit counts start today at the beginning of April, the flower insect timed counts. But I can't do it because it's not warm enough. It has to be at least 13 degrees if the sky is less than half blue. No, 15 degrees if the sky is less than half blue, and 13 degrees if it's more than half blue. And today it's only about 10. So it's too cold. Although in the sunshine it actually feels quite warm. So these are some of the wildflowers that I got from a wildflower nursery just down the road near Swansea. These 3 on the left here are white dead nettle. These are flowering at the moment and they're supposed to be very good for pollinators, so they should do quite well here. These 3 are ragged robin. This has lovely delicate pink flowers. It likes marshy, wet areas, I think, but it does grow in the woods around here. So I think it should do okay in this garden. And these three, they're just showing above the surface of the compost. This is hemp agrimony, and this does grow around here on the roadsides and the road verges and things. So that should be okay in this garden. So I had this theory that native plants would be more resistant to slugs, but I've immediately been proved wrong. These are wild carrots, and the slugs have left those two on the right alone, but this one, they ate right down. Another leaf has grown back. So I've had to put them up on a table out of the way. And these are tansy, and the slugs have had a go at all of those. See, they've eaten through that and sort of munched partially through that, and that one they've eaten most of the leaves, and that one they've eaten all the leaves, but that one they've left alone. So I put those up on the table too to get them out of the way of the slugs. And then these are wild carrot that I sowed in February. I went to a seed swap in Monmouth and got these wild carrot seeds, so I sowed them straight away, and yesterday I pricked them out. There was a lot of seed, so some of it I sowed in a seed tray, and some of it I've just scattered onto the beds and onto the grassy areas that are going to be, because I really would love to establish wild carrot as a perennial self-seeder in this garden. And just a quick update on the hibernaculum. One of my viewers commented that she was a bit worried that creatures wouldn't be able to climb back out again once they'd gone down the pipes. So she suggested putting a stick down each one. So these are actually raspberry canes. I've put a raspberry cane down each one. I don't know whether creatures will have difficulty climbing out, but certainly won't hurt to have a stick to help them. A little bee. This is what I saw before on the primroses. It's a little solitary, I think, mining bee. I suppose I'm just wondering whether it's looking for somewhere to build a nest. It looks very interested in the ground. So, under that little tiny piece of wood chip is a hole. There are little mining bees living. Quick, cover it up. Cover it back up. So just a last few of the primroses before we go. And it just remains for me to say thank you for joining me as I trot around my wild Welsh garden. It'd be great to have your company again next time. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hwyl fawr.